I don't
About
have,
not watering flowers. Except that she's a nice person. Yeah, right.
I don't know that many.
so I just, you got 2 weeks sleep like I did. It's amazing when I get 4 to 5 hours. How much better. Yeah, either of there. No.
I'm okay with it.
One more joke. I got one more in.
You ever heard of something that's gonna get our? It's over there now. The bands.
And the reservations.
I'm asking you.
I mean, what's that thing on?
I have a question.
My back.
Later.
Go ahead, one more.
Very cool, that's a flash go. But I know why you did it for the cab manager, because he passed on. I'm liking that.
It's looking to be roasted at the Christmas party a lot.
Oh, yeah, I will be. But. We don't need to say, can and will.
Here, we have a Christmas party, otherwise we cut that budget.
Hey, you do it too.
Like roast you.
I have a reputation in some circles. Hey, yeah. Like we don't know where people. Yeah, right. But I'm here. I know, I got that one like yesterday. I'm like, yeah. They found that she's. I got one in Spain. For to catch.
Oh.
What is the eagle?
DNR. It is noon. Meeting order. All rise for the flag. Can't approve the bills. I pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Citizens comment? Oh, wait, roll call. It's my first meeting.
Jamie Melky, Nancy Rondell.
Here.
Matt Rivera.
Here.
Michael Behrman.
Here.
And Kathy Mantra.
Here.
All right. Now citizens comment.
I've got one, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Bill Mulder, 372 West Summit Street, speaking as the chair of the Planning Commission. I'm calling a special meeting of the Planning Commission for Wednesday, November 6th, 2024 at 5:30 here at City Hall. And the agenda will be to review the results of the November 5th zoning repeal referendum, and then determine if any actions are required by the Planning Commission at that time. Thank you very much.
What time?
5:30 p.m. And Jeff will be posting that in the usual places and notifying members of the Planning Commission.
Right.
I have a couple things, actually 3 things. I brought Emily today. She doesn't get to come to very many meetings if you haven't met her. She's our administrative assistant. She's the workforce over there and the brains of the place. So she does a great job for us. And so a couple things, Mayor, this hopefully is not your last meeting ever, but your last meeting for this cycle. So I just want to say thanks for your support of our department. You've been very supportive and everybody over there feels the support. So, and then the last thing I want to talk about today was we had I don't know if you're aware, in December or October 23rd, the night of October 23rd, we had a bunch of vandalism in town. Approximately 40 homes, 45 homes got hit with paintballs, eggs and stuff like that. I was actually in Florida on vacation that night, and it really like upset me, immensely. And so got on the phone with the guys, said we got to get to the bottom of this. And we have a small department and it's like that stuff doesn't happen here. And it really, everybody over there took it personal. And I told them, I said, we take this serious. So we started doing our work, got a hold of Officer Strobel, Thursday night, said, we found some evidence, some egg cartons, and we found out where things were for his dad. Said you need to go to the 4 stores in over there. We ended up narrowing down to D&W or Olson's, determined that they were sold at Olson's. It was a unique pack. So then from there, with the scanning the barcode stuff, we were able to determine that that's how we determined it. They were sold at 11:05 p.m. Got video footage of the person who bought them, 324 packs, got a search warrant for his credit card number, and that's how we were able to determine who did it. So yesterday, Spencer and I went and interviewed him and his girlfriend, and then another person. They all 3 confessed, none of them locally, 2 19-year-old or 18-year-old from Indian River and a 19-year-old from Petoskey. So this isn't like kids, this is actually young adults that made bad decisions. So we'll be seeking warrants for them over the next week or so, but everybody over there took it very seriously, you know, like for some, my chief down, they were laughing at me, oh, that's your big crime. And I said, it is a big crime. And, I said, we took it personally, it was an attack of our city and our department. So the guys worked real hard. Everybody was a group effort, but the guys did a really good job. And hopefully we'll get some warrants for these individuals. But if you hear anything on the street, we have located at least 3 of the individuals that we feel responsible, and just some good police work trying to track this down. And I'll give D&W a lot of credit. They really went to bat and helped us out in this. Just one.
Well done. For damage to city property?
Yeah, one of our speed signs on Lake Street got shot. We're not sure if it's gonna work. That's like a $2,500, $3,000 sign. So that's a felony. And so that would be like the one large thing, but in some homes, a lot of them just walked off, a lot of political signs were hit. And then a couple of homes had, the siding was either penetrated or dented on the siding. So there was not a whole lot of motive, just kids being, or young adults being adults. So, but hopefully that will be the end of it for a while, but I just wanted to update you. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Good work. Thank you. Okay, anyone else for citizen comment? Well, fantastic. Consent agenda? Any issues?
It looked fine to me. It all looked fine to me, so I would make a motion that we.
Kathy Macho,
Yes.
Michael Behrman,
Yes.
Matt McGuire,
Yes.
Nancy Rondell.
Yes.
Jamie Melky.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. All right, so we have 2 items on the discussion agenda today. They're both related to Harbor Commission decisions and recommendations. The first is our annual establishment of the next season's marina and waterfront rates. And this year you see the rate changes that the Harbor Commission voted on. There was some of the rates, especially the seasonal dock slips and mooring increases. There were several votes that happened before we actually got to a motion that succeeded. So you'll see the increases for the seasonal dock slips and seasonal mooring slips. They're recommending 3.25%. For the transient moorings nightly rates, increasing by $5. So for the 200 series boats, that's 30 to 35, and for the 300 series, 40 to 45. The seasonal dinghy storage, and this is for non-seasonal mooring holders, that is increasing by $5 from $225 to $230. Kayak storage also by $5 from $225 to $230. Then transient slip rates is moving from category I to category J, which is the state establishes those rates. They have different categories A through J, and we have been at I for a few years, and J is the highest level. There is no level beyond that. So this year the Harbor Commission decided to move toward category J. So yeah, I know JB and Mike Johnson is here too. If you have any questions about those, but pretty standard stuff. They had the lengthy discussion on the rates at the Harbor Commission. They included the minutes in this packet. So you can see that, but pretty straightforward. It's ultimately the council's decision to either approve the Harbor Commission's recommendations or make any other changes you want to see in the rates.
I have a question.
Good.
I'm okay with the rates. I was at the meeting, but when you guys talked about, cleaning up the wait list that had 200 and some folks on it, are we gonna do that like before next season? Is
The
that,
Harbor Commission asked that that happen, so it's a hand off the staff.
okay,
To
okay.
be on it.
I think that's important, so we know really what kind of wait list we've got
Absolutely.
for that stuff. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
It's been a couple of years since we've raised.
Pardon me?
It's been a couple of years since we've raised rates.
Yeah.
Well, transient rates have been at that high the last 3 years, I think, they're there. And we've been waiting for the state, because they control what we can charge you to account for inflation, and they haven't over those 3 years, which was one of the drivers for going to the next most, or the top rate that the state has in that. And on seasonal rates, we try to stick with inflation or somewhere near with that. We are by far the highest public seasonal rate facility in the state of Michigan. And so we kind of use inflation to keep up with that position.
I would say there's usually rate increases annually, but not for every category of rates. So like, for example, like JB just said, there wasn't any for transient slips for the past few years, but seasonal slips, yes. Several other rates that have remained the same. Probably like 4 or 5.
Remember doing it last year.
What were how often are the dinghy and kayak rates raised? Is that kind of a yearly basis? I remember a discussion a couple of years ago on it, but does that typically happen every year?
Generally, Michael, I think there's some sense at the table, and I can only speak for myself. That at least we need to be keeping the neighborhood with inflation, so we aren't going backwards on that. And then if there's something that changes, if we improve to the kayak storage back, or then maybe we do a little adjustment there. But the $5 thing is there is to show them we're paying attention and moving forward.
Got it. Okay, thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Any other discussion? Guess I'll make a motion to approve the new rates at the waterfront.
I'll second it.
Kathy Mitchell,
Yes.
Jamie Melky.
Yes.
Michael Behrman,
Yes.
Nancy Rondell,
Yes.
and Matt McGarrett.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Item 3B is the DNR Marina Reservation System. At its last meeting, the Harbor Commission discussed and approved using the DNR's reservation, their central reservation system for some of the city docks transient slips. This is something that the Harbor Commission had, thought about in like many years ago, and then Mike Johnson, our harbor master, rekindled a discussion about it with the DNR staff, and this time around they were willing to meet some of our requests that you'll see in here that would make the DNR central reservation system more palatable for us. So Michael did a lot of talking with them back and forth. The Harbor Commission in the summer gave a list of the things that they wanted to see in the agreement, or else they wouldn't accept the agreement. And we had Attorney Jim Raymer, who added an addendum to the agreement that discusses, captures everything that the Harbor Commission wants to see in that agreement. So when Mike Johnson talked to the DNR, they said that they were willing to agree to those points. So the Harbor Commission said, if they're willing to agree to them, then we will add this addendum to it. So Jim Raymer prepared the addendum you see in there based on the Harbor Commission's requests. And the main points of the agreement in general, they're up here. That 12 of the 17 transient slips be managed by the DNR reservation system. The rest of the transient slips would be managed by the city. The city will manage also as 34 seasonal slips. So this does not affect seasonal slips. The city has a right to block out slips for special events. And then there's certain dates that the city can and cannot extend the reservation system 7-day maximum stay. So between July 15th and August 15th, that 7-day maximum limit is there, but on the tail end of the season and the first part of the season, the city does not have to, there's no 7-day maximum for the city there. Finally, the agreement is for 3 years, and then if it's something that we decide that we don't think is right or doesn't, it's not meeting our needs or just not what we thought it would be, we could back out as long as all of, all other obligations are met with as far as making sure there's no leftovers, reservations, et cetera, et cetera. So it's, I think the Harbor Commission they are comfortable with it. They voted on it. And Mike and JB, you want to add to it, but it's been about maybe why you guys decided to want to go down this route.
We were really looking for a way to be able to grant people the ability to be here when they want to be here versus just assuming that we've been operating a first come, first served basis for a long period of time, probably as long as I've been harbor master, if not before that. And what we do is allow people to, we take their name of their boat, we take their name, ask them for a date they'd like to be with us. So we call it kind of an extended, unexpected arrivals calendar, which isn't working well for in the past, but we do see a number of vacant slips, especially after the 5th of July. And we'd like to be able to guarantee people the ability to come into us on a selected date and stay for as long as they'd like for that 7 days. To be able to create a little bit more business in that, I hate to call it downtime, but that week or so between July 5th and regatta time when we're going to be packed, just to get people to the slips and be able to say, we have a spot for you through the system. And the beauty of the system is that we don't have to dedicate all of our slips to them. We can keep those 34 as Victor mentioned. Excuse me, we keep all the broadside space along that west wall between ourselves and Wastroms out in front of the pier. The end of the west dock, the end of the east dock, and then all that space along the small boat space along the east wall. We maintain quite a bit of control over our physical dimensions. So
Assuming it's all done online,
pardon me,
it's all done online.
it's all done online and we get a report on that day to day. They did change their payment schedule. It used to be you didn't see any monies from the state until 3 months after the initial reservation's been made. But now it's pretty much instantaneous. I think it's a win-win for us all the way around.
Right.
And they can also call the DNR reservation.
Yeah, there's an 800 number to call the DNR system.
I had worked at the state park, and I'm assuming it's the same platform, Camas.
Yep.
And do they supply the hardware and?
They supply the hardware, they supply the software. They're bringing it to us and we'll train staff on it to get people used to it. In that 3-year agreement, it used to be 20 years to dedicate to the contract agreement, but now they've lowered it to 3. That gives everybody time to get used to it from our end and from their end as well.
I mean, I had thought that from the behind the scenes system that the park saw, the employees of the park saw, I thought it was a pretty easy system to navigate around and gave you some good information and, pretty user friendly, so.
The boating side of that system's gotten quite a bit better over the past several years. They have someone in place now that's really worked hard at making this thing friendly to both the marina and to the state as well, so, and to the city.
Am I right to, there was no cost for the training or the?
No cost for training, no cost for installation.
Do they take a cut of the fees?
They take a cut of the fee up front, but we receive all the fees from that reservation. Basically, it's a booking fee.
Oh, okay.
Right, it's probably similar to how the state park, there's a booking fee that they
Yeah.
get and,
So we get the rates that you saw. I mean, that's how that works. We still get. all
For
of
transient
that.
slips, yes.
Yeah.
All the things you folks have brought up are reasons why the Harbor Commission hasn't recommended that we get involved with the state in the past. Because the length of commitment was a 20-year deal. They took a piece out of our rate. They were slow pay on getting the money back to the municipality. And as we've watched this, we've looked at it on a regular basis. They've got me better to work with. So I think this is a great way for the city to do this, totally.
It's a good thing for the voters too, because a lot of people might make assumptions that, oh, there's never space up in Harbor Springs,
And honestly, Mike, we hear that all the time.
you know, and now they can go online and see, oh, wow, I can get these 3 days here, 4 days. So I think it's good for the public and
One of the comment, I've seen several social media posts about how the city is giving away the control of the marina to the state of Michigan by entering into this arrangement. And I can tell you that that is not at all. So this is a great deal for the city as we move forward with this, and the city retains control of what's going on now.
So essentially, and to follow up on that, JB, because it says here is slips will be managed by the DNR reservation system. So it's basically, it's their system, right? But they're not, I mean, people are going in directly, seeing what the availability is and doing it through the system. The state isn't actively controlling what people are, I mean, we're the ones that set up the slips in the system, correct? Okay, so,
and it looks like you can block out, you know. For a
Right.
big weekend or for some reason, you can go in and block those slips out so no one can. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, Mike.
If there's like a special event or a big weekend or something, you can actually go in and block those out so that people can't reserve them.
Right, and we're allowed to do that, just have to notify them, I think. The amendment says 3 days in advance, although I plan to do that well in advance of that, just.
well, eventually, we still control that.
Yes,
Part.
yes, and we control those 12, we can use those 12 slips to go to the system for regatta time, which is super important for us.
How much time, being as this is the first year we're talking about this, is there adequate time in the contract to get, you know, the hardware in, to get people trained?
In talking with the folks at the CRS and the DNR, they need 8 to 12 weeks to install the system. It could go as quickly as 8, it could go as long as 12.
Mhm.
But if we get them all the information in a timely manner, I've already started to accumulate that with them. Then we should be able to be right on schedule, install the system and up and running by 1st of May.
Because they were talking about, wasn't there something about being able to reserve a slip 6 months in advance? Did I read that in the
I don't
contract?
think we're gonna be there with the state system up until the following season.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
just getting the system installed in time.
But the sooner we go, the quicker that'll happen.
That's-
You're looking at.
yeah.
Right.
Over.
Bill Mulder at 372 West Summit Street. And just for the record, I want to ask the Harbor Commission, are you doing this so the city can comply with the RRC requirements in any way?
I can't even spell ours.
And will there be uniformed state employees patrolling our docks?
Absolutely not.
There will not be. Thank you very much.
You must have read the same post I.
One of the comments I got from the state was they don't want to run our marina forest. They just want to facilitate making things easier for boaters and for us. Yeah, and they don't want to control us. Maybe 10 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, they wanted to, but they're not in that business.
And I don't personally trust the state. Through the years as Harbor Commissioner, we've had a number of run-ins with them, which is why the addendum is important to this. And if Jim's comfortable with that language, so his work's excellent, then I think you've got the state. We all know what we're getting into, and we all know how to get out. So all this talk about losing control is, I don't know where it's coming from, because it isn't coming from that table. And we're not getting involved with those guys. I'm the last guy.
Anyone else? Twice, thrice. I'll make a motion, we approve the DNR marina reservation system.
Second then?
Nancy Rondell.
Yes.
Jamie Melky.
Yes.
Kathy Macho.
Yes.
Matt Bagheera.
Yeah.
Michael Behrman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
I'm excited.
For all the hard work.
Well, it goes straight to the city manager report. We've got our updates, so reminder that election day is tomorrow. We already had. We had absentee votes and early election votes, probably over 50% turnout, right, Nick?
I'm saying somewhere right around 600 voters, so yeah, we're a little over 50% already.
So, that's, none of the ballots are counted or anything like that, that all takes place tomorrow, but, it is more than any other election, what Nick and Patty have told me, this turnout, so, you know, probably last presidential election turnout, we had about 75% turnout overall. We're probably gonna exceed that by far.
I think we were at 885 voters or something 4 years ago. It was something like that, wasn't it, Nick?
Yeah.
It was the highest
Yeah.
one we'd ever seen, and I would certainly anticipate this one to
We're
be
on
bigger.
track for that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Oh,
only
yeah.
need a couple hundred people to come
Yeah.
through the door and it'll
Yeah.
exceed that.
For other things going around the city, we have, fall cleanup, which is can last through November 18th, so get your leaves out there, but again, that's always weather permitting, it can last longer if we have 50, 60-degree weather with a little rain, or we could get snow in November, so. But yep, it'll go through November 18th. Christmas lights have been put up throughout downtown and around City Hall. Christmas tree is coming November 11th. And for those that don't know, every year someone donates a Christmas tree. Main Street. What else? I don't have that person's name off the top of my head, but we'll put something in there about that. Also a reminder from Lucas, DPW, to turn off irrigation. Nights are gonna be freezing and don't want to damage our irrigation system. Also have that potentially affect our system as well, so. And for when the snow does come, it's a reminder for people who are shoveling their snow, don't shovel the snow from your sidewalk or driveway into the city street. That is a big no-no. Could get in trouble. Absentee ballots are still available, right?
You have to vote here today with an absence.
Yeah, they're still available.
You can take that out.
Polls are open at 7, close at 8. And Nick was open this weekend for elections. EDA, there's a lot of activity going down there. They're put their first phase of the Third Street lighting project. That's complete. I'm looking to check out those lights. They're busy planning for next year as well. Planning, zoning, and planning and zoning. We do have a planning commission meeting November 21st. A special meeting that will be there on Wednesday. That meeting on the 21st. The only thing on the agenda so far is the capital improvements plan. So the planning commission will see a draft of that CIP, which we're working on here at City Hall, and then it'll go to council in December. Council will have a few weeks in December before we approve the capital improvements plan with the city budget on that third Monday in December. So you will get the copy of the budget and the CIP on the first Monday in December, or before that. Tree board was canceled last month because we did have enough, we didn't have a quorum, but hopefully we will meet again this month. There wasn't a lot of pressing business for the tree board. The RRC is meeting this Friday. We are finishing up the economic development strategy. We went to the DDA and the planning commission with that. There are some proposed suggestions or changes from the planning commission and DDA that the RRC wants to consider, some edits that we'll take back to council sometime probably in December. And then the RRC is also going to be working on incentives, is what they've been talking about as well, incentive policies potentially. So then, as far as the RRC, that's would be pretty much wrapped up with that. There's a couple of things that Jeff is working on as far as internal documentation processes, but it's pretty much almost done with that process. As far as statistics of the city, we're still pretty busy in the website. Obviously, the more popular things that people are reading are are the zoning code, the zoning ordinance, and the council packets. Of course, people paying their bills and looking for staff are usually the webpage is most visited. Yeah, that's really what's going on. And any questions about anything?
I did have a question for Nick, regarding early voting. So tomorrow, for all those people that voted over at the VFW post, who does the county run those through?
Yeah, yeah, they'll do their closing at 8 o'clock, just like we do here. So when I take the results from here over there, hopefully they'll have their stuff done so I can get results of what our city residents voted
Okay.
and combine them. I'm not sure how it's gonna work yet, but I should know by 10:30 tomorrow night.
Okay, so, just so folks know, our local city results, we'll probably know around 10:30, 11-ish.
Yeah, depending, if,
Is,
there's no hiccups.
is the law such that votes are turned in and they can't count them until after the polls close? Is
Yeah,
that
when they
correct?
set up that early voting jurisdiction, they consider it like a separate entity.
Okay.
So they can't close those polls until after 8 o'clock, the rest of
Even though there's no activity.
I was gonna say, even though nobody's voting there.
it, right?
So there's somebody at the county building or the clerk's office runs those through. But here absentee ballots, are they run through tomorrow during the day, or do those have to wait until?
No, those will get run through. We do a dozen at a time as time permits during the day. And we always have them in before I close the poll. So when we're done at 8 o'clock and I print the tape, I'll know what happened here. But I won't be able to fully say what the actual results are for anything until I get the results from the county.
For those that may have missed that earlier, there's 160 people voted early. So those 160 ballots are not coming to City Hall. Those 160 ballots are going to the county. So whenever whatever results we have tomorrow night, when our election staff count the ballots, it'll be missing the 160 votes from those who have voted early.
So for instance, one race, mayor, city council, if it was a 200 vote swing, I would be able to comfortably say yes, because there's only 160 voters that are unaccounted for at that point, but I really don't know that we're gonna know the answer till at least 10 o'clock.
Will you post it anywhere?
In the past, I've posted them on the website or social media, but I don't know if I'll be up.
The county.
Right. Like, it's funny. Okay.
The county has it right. All night long. As the townships come in, the county website will have results updated,
Emmett County something.
emmettcounty.org, I believe.
Yeah, and then it shows all the results. If you want to stay up all night.
Oh, boy. Is that gonna be on CNN?
Maybe.
I guess the other thing is all the new business.
Doing all? Doing all business?
Except
Only-
only Matt.
Yeah, thanks to Matt for.
Only thank you to.
It's been a pleasure working with all of you. And, I'll miss you, but I'll still be around.
You're not fading into anonymity or,
Gonna try. Probably, see if I can get on some boards and commissions. Keep my fingers in things, keep an eye on everything.
sit over there and,
Heckle.
Yeah. Rotten tomatoes.
No.
But seriously, you've been on a long time and given lots and lots. And
Good.
some of it's been fun sometimes, and
Yeah, sure.
sometimes not, and that's okay, but thank you.
Yeah, I've enjoyed myself over the last 12 years. Glad I could do it. Harbor Springs has been very good to me, so my turn to give back. Anything else? I say this meeting is adjourned.
And there is food, people.
Everybody have a good time.
That's okay.
That's okay.